Hi friends! Today I thought I'd read you a story about Mercy Watson because a lot of my friends in pre-K are very big fans of Mercy Watson. And this is the story of how Mercy Watson came to live with Mr. and Mrs. Watson and how she got her name. So the name of this story is A Piglet Named Mercy. And the author of this book is Kate DiCamillo. And the illustrator is Chris Van Dusen. And the illustrator is the person who does all the pictures inside the book. This is my cat, little Leo. He likes to look out the window. It's kind of rainy and he wishes he could be outside, but cats and water don't get along too well. Mr. and Mrs. Watson lived in a house on Deckawoo Drive. Deckawoo Drive was an ordinary street in an ordinary town. That means when something is ordinary, it's not too fancy, it's not too exciting, just kind of plain. Mr. and Mrs. Watson were ordinary people who did ordinary things in ordinary ways. Mr. Watson is trimming the bushes, making the lawn nice and neat, and Mrs. Watson is cleaning up inside of the house. Mr. Watson's also washing his car. One day, Mrs. Watson said to Mr. Watson, "I wonder if we aren't just the teeniest bit too predictable." "Predictable? Us?" said Mr. Watson. "Surely not. Predictable means that you'd kind of do all the same things the same way all the time. And if you ask someone, what do you think Mr. and Mrs. Watson are doing? You could guess that Mr. Watson was probably working on the yard and Mrs. Watson was probably inside cleaning the house. It's just that sometimes I wish something different would happen," said Mrs. Watson. "Things are just fine as they are," said Mr. Watson. But that night, something different did happen. Look what it is. Molson's Pig Transport. It's a truck that's bringing pigs to a new farm. But look, a little piglet fell out. Oh dear. Where will that little piglet go? Someone very small and not at all ordinary found her way to the Watsons' house on Deckawoo Drive. There's little Mercy walking up to the front door. Mr. Watson made the discovery when he opened the door for the morning paper. "Mrs. Watson," he called, "come see." "Oh, the little dear," said Mrs. Watson. "Oink," said the pig. "I think she's hungry," said Mr. Watson. "Is that a pig?" said Eugenia Lincoln. Eugenia is the very cranky next-door neighbor. She did not approve of surprises or pigs. "It is," said Mrs. Watson. "Can you believe our good luck?" "Don't be ridiculous," said Eugenia Lincoln. "A pig is not lucky at all." She looks pretty cranky, but her sister Baby looks pretty happy. "Do you think perhaps the piglet would like a bottle of warm milk?" said Baby Lincoln. Baby was Eugenia's younger sister, and she was very fond of surprises and piglets. Mr. Watson scratched his head. A bottle of milk? I don't know. This is all so unpredictable." "Leave it to me," said Baby Lincoln. "Oink," said the piglet again. Mrs. Watson picked up the piglet and took her inside. She wrapped her in a blanket. "Have you ever seen anyone so darling?" she said. "Never," said Mr. Watson. They're pretty excited about this little baby pig. "Here's the warm milk," said baby Lincoln. "I have it right here." Eugenia said, "That is absurd." She's not happy, that Eugenia. The piglet did not think it was absurd at all. She drank the entire bottle. There she is, very happy drinking that bottle of milk. That was a good idea. And then Mercy burped. Burp. And she oinked. Oink, oink. And then she jumped out of Mrs. Watson's arms and went looking for more to eat. "Oh my goodness," said Mr. Watson. "Watch out," said Eugenia. "She seems to like toast very much," said baby. "Oh, the darling, darling thing," said Mrs. Watson. There's Mercy getting her toast, her very favorite snack of all. "Mr. Watson," said Mrs. Watson, "perhaps you would like to hold her for a bit?" "Certainly," said Mr. Watson. He took the piglets in his arms and rocked her. He hummed to her. "How extraordinary," said Mr. Watson. "She is a porcine wonder." "This piglet is a wish come true," said Mrs. Watson. "What a mercy she is," said baby. "There you go," said Mr. Watson. "We will call her Mercy." "She is not a mercy," said Eugenia. "She is a pig." "Oink, oink," said the piglet. "You cannot name a pig Mercy," shouted Eugenia. They all look pretty happy. But they did name her Mercy. She was entirely unpredictable. She was not at all ordinary, and she was very, very loved. Well, friends, that's the end of the story. Thanks for joining me for story time. And I'm glad that we could find this book and figure out how Mercy came to live with Mr. and Mrs. Watson and how she got her name. I'll see you next time. Bye.